Howdy, you're watching me play Fable while I give kind of an update video. An update video that I don't really want to make. I feel like this video is gonna be a bit defensive, and I mean, it's not really a position I ever want to be in. I don't want to be defensive. But this is gonna be a defensive video. Being transgender on the internet, of course I'm gonna get hate comments like every fucking video I make. It's just kind of par for the course at this point. I already expect it. I know that there's gonna be people who will just say mean things just to be mean. And of course, while I don't think that's acceptable, this is not who I'm addressing here. I also want to make it clear that I'm not addressing the people who give constructive, polite criticism sometimes. In fact, some of them have come fairly recently. For example, I recently made a community post joking that if the state forced me, legally speaking, to detransition, that I would run for political office and I would do everything fascist under the fascist playbook and just abolish white supremacy or abolish the Catholic Church, so on and so forth. And someone commented correctly saying that that kind of mentality is the opposite of everything I stand for. It's accelerationist, and people have tried to infiltrate the state to try to thwart it, and they've always failed to do so. So that right there is one of those constructive criticisms that I sometimes get that I'm not addressing in this video. And to the person who made that particular comment, thank you, because it's a very good point. It is something that I stand firmly against, and yet I still made a really shitty joke. And this is to say that if I do something problematic, like say something that's incredibly reactionary or accelerationist or, problematic or bigoted or whatever, I firmly believe that there is no content creator above scrutiny, including myself. So that's not what this video is about. None of that is what this video is about. What I'm making this video for, and it's also partially why you're seeing Fable footage right now, are the people who are mad at me for not making serious political videos. So a little bit of context here. When Donald Trump got elected in 2016, there was a wave of what I will aptly call breadtube videos, or left-wing critical political YouTube videos. Most of these left-wing political YouTubers made their content due to the rise of alt-right media platforms like PragerU. Now, I didn't really get my start in the year of 2017, but I started to make specifically left-wing content in 2017 on my now archived YouTube channel. The video that I am most well known for is my video about Peter Kropotkin. Over the years, a lot of people have stated that I am the reason why they started reading Peter Kropotkin's books and learning about Peter Kropotkin's history. I also made the Anarchist One Piece video analyzing One Piece, the anime and manga, from an anarchist analytical perspective. I'm not the only one who's clearly done this on YouTube, but I was at least one of the first people to make this analysis. And honestly, I'm probably not the first person to make this analysis either, but I really wasn't seeing too many people exploring the political themes of One Piece, especially considering that it just seemed so obvious to me at the time. Now, here's the thing. As I began to routinely upload videos on that archived channel, I started to lose touch as to what my entire intention with that channel was. I had something called the Christopher Sabo Show, and of course, since starting HRT and transitioning and all that, I don't go by Christopher Sabo anymore. I did identify as non-binary around this point, but the entire purpose of that YouTube channel was not to become a political YouTube channel. I've spoken about this before, but I wanted that channel to strictly be a comedy channel. I was inspired by Eric Andre, Brutal Moose. Some people have compared my Christopher Sabo Show content to that of Mystery Science Theater 3000. And for those who have made that comparison, I have watched a few episodes of that show, and to be frank, I just don't see it. You are entitled to your opinions, though. But towards like the last couple of years of uploading onto my now archived channel, I started to really get burnt out because there was a bit of an expectation from me making political content and uploading it regularly. I had a social circle around me that was expecting specifically politically left-wing content, and I really did not like that. Is it because I'm not left-wing anymore? No, of course not. I'm still an anarcho-communist. I have been an anarcho-communist since I turned 18, and I'm 32 now, so that's almost half of my lifetime. But I want to introduce a thought to you that maybe you haven't considered, or maybe you have, I don't know. Making content about dark topics like Israel's genocidal campaign on Palestine, or police brutality in the United States, or the CSA scandals in the Catholic Church. These are topics that I deeply care about, but I don't like making videos about them. It's like, these are topics I would rather not have to talk about, right? And I understand I'm privileged in that aspect, that sometimes I can just tune it out, in comparison to children in Palestine who, can't change the channel or watch a different YouTube video when things get too heavy. I understand and recognize that privilege there. And I want to make it clear that it's not like I stopped talking about these topics. I made multiple podcast episodes and videos about these topics, and I definitely still plan to do so. In fact, I have one I'm working on right now about the upcoming US election and how I really don't have faith in the Biden administration, even though I've already made a fucking video talking about that the other day. I also especially believe that labor unions don't get represented enough in not just discourse, but overall popular and mainstream media. But yeah, sometimes I don't want to make a fucking video about these topics that I'm talking about right now. I don't want to always talk about those things. I don't always want to make a video about something that makes me deeply fucking depressed, that keeps me awake at night. I'm awake at 3 in the fucking morning. I have a video on the other side of the fucking room compressing and exporting from Final Cut Pro, being uploaded to YouTube hopefully sometime later this month. Very unlikely because it might get copyright stricken. Sometimes I do just want to make an 1.5-hour long video about my favorite nerdy special interests. Not only am I on the autism spectrum, but I'm also queer and trans as fuck, and life is short. I think it's cowardly to close your ears, close your eyes, and go la 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 to all of the horrible things that we see in society. I think it is equally as destructive to engage in something so much that it actually gives you a fucking heart attack. Yeah, I'm serious. Sometimes the topic that I talk about on my channel, and especially on the former channel, it is so heavy for me that I've had heart attacks. Yeah, I don't know how else to really explain it to you. That's what it's been like for me sometimes. For example, I mentioned the Catholic CSA scandals from earlier. I was a direct victim of that when I was 11 years old. I'm very open about that. You want to know how hard it is for me to read comments telling me that I'm lying about what happened to me, especially after I only barely realized what happened to me was assault at the age of 21. That it took me that long to realize what happened to me was assault. And in addition, it gives me so much grief to know that these horrible sex scandals are not being corrected. We're being lied to. The Catholic Church does these bullshit internal investigations based on so-called quote-unquote credibly accused cases of creepy-ass priests who get relocated to another church, blah blah blah. You've heard me bitch and moan about it already. And yet, sometimes I don't want to make a fucking video about that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, sure, I realize that the scope of what I just spoke about is a bit myopic, and that there are other major, important current events that are definitely worth talking about. But the bottom line here, everyone, is that this channel is created specifically because I want to make the videos that I want to make, okay? Unions are important to me. I'm working class. All of my jobs would have been better if I had a union in those jobs, clearly. Duh. I think genocide is absolutely unacceptable by any stretch of the imagination. Duh. You don't need Peter Kropotkin, Karl Marx, or Emma Goldman to tell you that. And as amazing as Angela Davis's book Are Prisons Obsolete is, you don't need her to tell you that all cops are bastards. In fact, only reading Angela Davis would be getting a very myopic perspective of the broader abolitionist movement. There's a whole history of abolition, especially within prisons and policing and slavery and so on and so forth. And what it boils down to is that you don't need me to tell you these things. I'm a goddamn YouTuber. I live in Section 8 housing. I'm a formerly houseless person. My material conditions, being homeless, going to college, and then dropping out of college because I was homeless while working at several jobs, radicalized me. I don't have a degree in anything that has to do with anarchism. If anything, Zoe Baker is far more qualified to talk about some of these issues than I am. And that's by no means an attempt to self-deprecate. That's just the truth. Recently, I made a community post showing off this screenshot of me playing Pokemon Crystal Clear, the ROM hack. And yes, for the person who did ask, yes, that is the Pokemon Crystal Clear ROM hack. You guessed correctly. But somebody made this comment saying, "Oh god, please don't be a brain dead video on Pokemon, please. I can't take anymore. Please be a decent opinion video." What if I don't want to? What if I want to make a dead brain Pokemon video? If you really want to know what I think of Pokemon, I think since Generation 5, it's been consistently going downhill. I think Nintendo needs to respect their workers, they need to stop doing crunch time, and ultimately the workers need to have a union, and also the same with Sega. I know that they're union busting right now, and they've been union busting, both Sega and Nintendo, and I don't support that. It's also part of the reason why I'm choosing to do a video about a ROM hack, because it was independently made, and for the most part, independently made Pokemon ROM hacks are bullied with cease and desist by Nintendo and Game Freak. And the particular ROM hack that I'm playing is that of Generation 2, which is more from my own childhood. See, that's the point. I want to make videos about shit I want to make, okay? Shit I want to do. I have a bucket list, okay? The Fatima video, that's been on my fucking bucket list for 20 fucking years. The first video on this channel being the Alanis Morissette video, that's been on my bucket list my entire life since I was a literal fucking baby, for crying out loud. The same with the Sonic IP video, the same with the Knuckles video, the same with the One Piece video that I'm probably going to be making in the distant future, the same with another fucking Sonic video that you're going to see in the fucking future. I'm going to be making fucking nerdy ass videos for a long time, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. And if you really have an issue with that, I guess unsubscribe. I don't know, cry me a river. I mean, of course, obviously, I'm never gonna stop speaking truth to power here, but you gotta remember something. I'm a YouTuber, and I'm not even a very popular YouTuber. I mean, look at my subscriber count. I can only make so many videos about the fucking trans genocide before I fucking wanna hide in a hole forever. If anything, the videos that I make should inspire you to want to be more active, to want to learn more about the world around you. That's been my goal, is to be informative and to be encouraging, to do good in your life. I am not a guru, I am just a bitch.